I heard about this school teacher. He was teaching second grade, and he was teaching math to the class. So he's talking to one of the kids, the class, and he asked the kid a very simple question. He said, if I give you 2 cats, and then another 2 cats, and then another 2 cats, how many cats will you have? And the kid said, 7. He said, pay attention to me. Listen what I'm saying. If I give you 2 cats, and then another 2 cats, and then another 2 cats, how many cats will you have? And the kid said, 7. Okay, let me try something else. If I give you 2 apples, and then another 2 apples, and then I give you another 2 apples, how many apples will you have? And I said, 6. Great. So if I give you 2 cats, and then another 2 cats, and then another 2 cats, how many cats will you have? And he says, 7. And the teacher said, how do you come out to that number? Well, because I already have a cat at home. So I want to talk to you today about who is in control. Who is in control? These are things that we should be thinking about. We're approaching Rosh Hashanah, almost the end of another year. And I don't know about you, but usually people, they make resolutions, right, at the beginning of the year. Could be sometimes at the end of December, but sometimes for Rosh Hashanah, we make resolutions. We come to synagogue. Sometimes we get inspired. It's sometimes a prayer that will trigger something. Sometimes a word or a phrase from a sermon that will trigger something, and you will say, that makes sense. I want to apply it to my life. I want to change. I want to do it better. We make a resolution, right? And then another year goes by. And sometimes we find ourselves still struggling with exactly the same thing. I'm not saying that we didn't try, but for one reason or another, we are still struggling. And those struggles sometimes keep limiting us. We know we can be better. We know we can give better. We know there is space to grow. But because we don't deal sometimes with those limitations, we are very limited of what we can give, of what we can achieve in our lives. And the interesting thing is that sometimes it is a real limitation, but most of the time it's just excuses that we come out with. So those excuses are limiting what we can do. Because we know we can, but for some reason we look back to the year and we didn't do it. So what happened in the middle? Excuses happened. Excuses. We always have that voice trying to talk us out of the decisions we made, even though we know they are good decisions, but that voice wouldn't shut up. I keep saying, stay in bed a little longer. Don't read that now. Oh, you know what? You will have time next week. Don't do it next week. Well, let me tell you something. The rabbis talk a lot about that. But all those excuses, and specifically about that voice that is always giving us bad advice, and they call it the Yetzer Hara, sometimes translated as evil inclination, which is an interesting name and very confusing in English, because if you study the concept of evil inclination, you will realize that it's not evil at all. There is nothing evil about the Yetzer Hara. So what is the Yetzer Hara? Well, the rabbi said, Yetzer Hara are the drives, the urges that we have in this life. And that's this is something very powerful. There are things that they are pushing us to do certain things. And if we don't control that Yetzer Hara, those drives, those urges, may push us to do negative things. But Judaism never said that you have to destroy the Yetzer Hara. Judaism said that you have to learn to control and to channel those urges and those drives into something positive. The rabbi said that without the Yetzer Hara, nobody will get married. Nobody will try to start a business. And nobody will do something for their community and for other people and so forth. So it's an energy that is absolutely necessary in our lives. But then again, uncontrolled, that is the energy that is creating excuses every day because it's very powerful. Powerful enough to stop us into doing something that we know that is good for us. You know, excuses. We don't know. Well, I will do it when I don't have so much to do. When I too much work right now, I can't. Or, you know, when my child gets a little older, I will go back into those courses that I know I can take. Or, you know, I won't do that now. I will wait until the weather is a little better, and so forth. We all come out with excuses why we don't do something good in our lives. Sometimes those excuses could be taken to the extreme. I heard this story of this man who was talking to a rabbi, and it was a counseling session. And the man was actually struggling in life. And he said to the rabbi, you know, I've been out of work. All what I can do is selling drugs. That's all I can do in life, selling drugs. And the rabbi said, whoa, hold on a minute. That's not true. I said, look, you know how to sell a product. Well, that's marketing. And they said, well, you know how to get the word out. That's advertisement. They said, well, I'm pretty sure you take care of your clients. That's customer service. Said, but then you know when to sell and when not to sell. Well, that's a management decision. So don't tell me that you cannot do it. You just decide to do something that is bad. But if you can sell drugs, you have the talent to sell something else. You can sell insurance. You can sell medical supplies and so many other things. So you have to make a decision and to control the talent that you have into something good. And that same principle could be applied to many other things in our lives. Let me tell you something about this week's Parsha. At the very, very beginning of the Parsha, we have the verse that it says, כי תצא למלחמה על אויביך, ונתנו אדוני אלוהיך בידיך, ושבית שביו. It says, when you go out to war against your enemy, Adonai, your God, will give your enemy in the palm of your hand, and you will take it prisoner. And the rabbi said, the enemy mentioned in the Torah is the Yetzer Hara. And it says the first thing you have to do is to make a decision that you're going to present battle against your enemy. If you don't make that decision, God won't do it for you. Number one, you have to make the resolution that you're going to get engaged into that process. Once you're there and you do what you have to do to present that battle against your drive and your urges, then it says, then and only then I will help you, and you will hold it in the palm of your hand, and you will take it prisoner. You see, again, it doesn't say that you're going to destroy your enemy. You're going to take it prisoner. Your enemy will be in your hand. And the rabbi said, if you don't do that, it's the opposite. You will be in your enemy's hand. So I get the question in this week's Parsha is, who controls who? Very powerful question. Who is in control? There is no in between. Either you control the Yetzer Hara and you use it to something positive, or the Yetzer Hara will control you. You are going to be a slave of your urges and your drives, and the outcome is going to be a negative one. So this is a very powerful reminder that another year is about to start. I'm pretty sure we're going to make lots of resolutions, but the Torah says, stay strong. Face your issues, face your challenges, and keep strong. Because if you are not able to control your challenges, your issues, your drives, your urges, unfortunately, they are going to control you. So stay strong in this new year. Face whatever you're facing in your life and have faith, as this parsha say. If you do it, if you give your 100%, then God will be there, do everything else that you cannot achieve with your own strength.